Hey everybody, welcome back. To those of you new to the channel, I want to extend a welcome to you. It's good to have you here. And for those of you returning, my regular subscribers and regular watchers, it's good to see you all again. Today I'm going to begin this video by asking you a question. How many of you, when you wake up in the morning and you take a look at your life, you feel a sense of dread? You're going to a dead-end job that you feel is probably on the verge of possibly cutting you loose, despite every effort that you put into it and despite whatever loyalty you demonstrate. You might be looking, especially for the men here, at a dead-end marriage or situation with a relationship. Perhaps you're living with somebody. You realize that there is a lack of trust, a lack of stability in that, and you're feeling very, very concerned about all of this. I'm wondering how many of you, this is what you wake up to in the morning, because a question we all have to ask ourselves, and I have been asked this many times here on the channel in responses that I've gotten and even in the comments, to clarify what we're after. Is it the disparity of everything? Are we just not okay with the situation, the economy, the government the way that it is? Are we just basically in rebellion against all of that? And my answer to it is, what we are looking for is a life that we don't have to create and escape from. When you wake up in the morning and feel like the work that you're going to do is not going to be just enough to barely keep you afloat, or even worse, despite a hard day's work, you're sinking even further into debt, further into misery, barely able to survive. It's about crafting a life that you don't need a desperate vacation from, that you don't need therapy for. It's about being able to have control over what's going on and have meaning and purpose and feel like you own your own life again. I have to say, this day and age, the biggest flex is not having some giant house that you owe $1 million for, which is what a lot of homes are now going for these days. The biggest flex is, do you own your own time? Are you in charge of your own schedule? When you wake up, do you have a life that you look forward to? And are you drowning in debt, or are you somewhat debt-free and heading that direction? That is the flex. You are not absolutely destroyed by trying to fit into a system that threw us overboard a long time ago. To me, that is the direction that we're going towards. It's not about being disgruntled or feeling disenfranchised. It's about carving out something that works best for us. For everybody watching this video, men, women, it doesn't matter. And I could go into a lot of detail about, the relationship aspect of this and happiness with that. But right now I'm focusing on just the day-to-day for everybody. Waking up to something that you don't regret. Feeling like you are building a life that is not a cage that you, to some degree, constructed yourself. Bars that you are behind because you allowed yourself to be put there. This is the type of thing that we're talking about. The reason why we want governmental change is because of the corruption. Is it likely to happen? Probably not. Not without something incredibly severe or catastrophic. That's probably not going to happen. Would we like private equity to be prevented from buying up homes and absolutely destroying the housing market, making it unaffordable for most people? Yes. Is anybody going to enforce that or in any way push that forward? No. Not in past administrations, not in the current administration. Are politics just completely a stage that we can't trust? Absolutely. I think most of us could agree upon that. This is all about waking up to a life of purpose and of meaning, not just blindly chasing hedonistic happiness, which could be defined as anything. But when you are done with the day, you have a sense of peace and calm. It doesn't mean that you don't have hardships. It means that you have, to some degree, the autonomy to be able to create what you want and almost in a way recreate the opportunities that were there for the boomer generation and previous generations. This is not hating on the boomers or previous generations. But when you take a look back at that, those people had, for the most part, affordable homes, affordable lives, stable jobs that valued loyalty, pensions that they were able to retire with, where they knew at the end of the day, they weren't going to get fired for just no reason. They had a stable job to go to, probably had their nights and weekends off for the most part. And they were going to be able to retire into old age and look forward to something without being completely left penniless. None of that exists anymore. That is what, simply put, most people want. Doesn't matter even if you're living here in America or in a foreign country, most people want that. And most of us are trying to find whatever ways we can to go about having something similar to that, to carve it out, to have a path and purpose in life, and to feel like we're not being completely left behind and screwed over. So I ask you again, what is your day like when you wake up? Do you feel like you have a sense of dread? Do you feel like you have a path towards getting out of debt? Having a level of autonomy and control over your life to where you can look forward to what you're going to be doing? How do you get there? How do we all get there? Those are the real questions that we're asking. Those are the most important things. Those things lead to having a path and purpose in life. And I think we need to remember, when we stop and think about all of this, that's what we're really all about. And I think that that should be what everybody is focused on. I feel, in my own personal opinion about all this, everything else that we get hit with mainstream media is just a distraction to keep us from thinking about all the things that I just described to you. So for those of you on board that this resonates with you, I want to hear from you in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this. And I feel like today, this is the only real conversation present day to be had. This is the most important thing. How does that get secured? How do you get to a point of getting out of debt? My own personal story that I've shared in other videos involves cutting extreme corners, doing everything I could to reduce debt across the board, doing everything I could to use everything from just sweat equity to whatever funds I could get a hold of to make it so that I could maximize my earning potential and get my time back as much as possible. One of the other main things that I wanted to do ultimately was start a channel and start talking to people about all of this, because I felt like I can't be the only one who feels this way. I can't be the only one who's noticing this is happening. So I'm not going to go too much further into this, but I'm curious to hear your feedback, and I'm going to end it here. And as always, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. All of this helps the algorithm, as you all know. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Have a good day.